Hello and welcome out to this episode of Outbreak Gamers. I'm your host, David Anthony, or WEBDAVE as my gamer tag on just about every platform there is. And I am very honored to have with me today Ericutz4thewin.
You
Is
got
that
it.
right?
You got it.
I nailed it, right?
Good
Okay.
job.
I'm used to calling you Erica. So
Yeah.
So anyway, Erica, thank you so much for being here today. This is great. This is awesome to have you on here.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me and asking me. It's funny because you hit me up with like my, I guess, quote unquote, business email.
I did.
And I have to manually check it, when it comes to my personal one, it goes to my phone. I get it right away.
Right.
So thankfully I checked it for once,
Me too.
and then I saw you in there and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Why not? So
Well, it all worked out. That's what I think is great. So, because there's some people, like you said, that some people have that I've come across have an agency.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, and they respectfully declined. So we'll introduce your cats right away.
That's Dinah. She likes to say hi every time I tell you. We were talking before the show, and for the listeners out there, like my cat is part of my whole. I guess she's my agency. I guess she's my manager. So
I love it. I love it. Well, as you know, pets and family members, all that kind of stuff. That's all part of life. So, so it's all welcome here and enjoyed. So, well, gosh, let's get things started with I guess. So what kind of jobs have you had in your life?
Ooh, in my life, I've been working for like 20 plus years or something like that. So it started kind of interesting. I worked at KFC. If you could believe that. That was my first job. I did all the sides, I did the biscuits, I did the drive-through, I did making all the food and stuff. And from there, I went on to like a federal job for the Postal Service.
Nice.
Which was kind of crazy because I didn't have college done yet or anything like that. And I was able to get at the time, a decent paying job. And I just had to test well and type really fast and boom, I was in. And then that kind of ended in 2008 because, a lot of jobs were going out the door and it was kind of a weird time and the economy was kind of crazy. So then after that, I did a couple of side gigs. I was doing like waitressing. I worked at Macy's for a bit, seasonal. I was just picking up clothes, folding them, doing all that.
Right.
And then after that, I got another federal job, which I'm still at. I can't really say what it is, but
fair enough.
I've been there for like 15 years. They actually just told me, hey, you hit your 15-year mark.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Yeah, thank you. So it kind of hit me then like, damn, I've been doing this a long time, I've been working a long time. So that's where I am now. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one that has a career that they can't speak of on the channel.
It happens. Yeah.
And that's fine. That's totally cool. I mean,
top secret.
I was going to say secret agent. I understand.
I get that a lot. They're CIA, Erica, you a secret agent? Yeah. So I play it like I am. Like yes.
There you go. Now, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Anyway, so yeah. So I guess with that, how did you get into like gaming? What I guess started you on like, ooh, I like doing this or I like gaming? How did I get started for you?
Just gaming in general, just playing games. Yeah. Oh man, that goes way back.
Good.
I was 5 years old in the 80s, and my uncle, he had a NES. So Mario, Super Mario Brothers, I played that. That was my first game. Was in love. I remember the first time I played that game. And
wow, that's good.
And my competitive genes was already coming out because I remember I could see it. I could picture it in my mind. I was trying to jump over one of the holes. And I fell. 5 years old, right? I'm barely learning how to play. And I had family there with me and they started laughing because they probably thought it was cute or whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, I was getting kind of mad, a little salty. And I remember that competitive like spirit, like, I want to beat that part, And it went on from there. I played games like Metroid. I played Punch Out. I could never beat it. But, I played these games. Kid Icarus. I mean, goes on and on and on. Contra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Super Nintendo, of course, I was a Nintendo kid. So we went from NES to Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo blew my mind. Loved it. Loved the games like Super Contra, or not Super Contra, but Contra 3.
Right.
Super Contra was before that. And then, you know, Metroid, of course, Super Metroid, Castlevania 4. So that kind of started my love for like Castlevania, Metroidvania, of course. And that stayed with me. You know, I even played games like Zelda, of course. So those genres really influence me now because, you know, I'm into like the Soulsborne stuff now, the challenging stuff. And yeah, I look back on those games like, yeah, that's kind of what started it. I've always been competitive. I've always played challenging games and I've just loved gaming. There's a couple years I kind of took off because I was working and I kind of growing up, turned 21. And I was out and about doing my thing. Yeah, but I always came back. I always came back to Nintendo or whatever. And I played everything, even though it was like I was the Nintendo kid, kind of. I still played Genesis. I still played Sega Saturn, PlayStation, even systems like 3DO, if you remember that one.
Oh, yes. Yes, very much so.
Turbo Graphics. I mean, everything, thanks to my uncle, because he got his hands on everything.
Right, right.
So he really is the reason I was a gamer. He's like my big brother, basically. Introduced me. Yeah. So he still games now. He's an Xbox guy.
Very cool.
And he's what got me into the 360. Gears of War is huge for me. And what eventually started my YouTube. So if you want to get into that, but Gears is like the main game that got me going.
That's what got you. That's what got you going. Huh? So that's what got you
with YouTube,
dabbling into YouTube. Okay,
even online, all that stuff. Gears.
So how did that happen for you then? How did it, I guess, come together? And what did you start off like doing? Was it just like play-alongs, or just you playing, or how-tos, or what got you into it? The YouTube and all that stuff.
It was like clips, like funny moments. Call of Duty was another one. And I would always have these moments of like, damn, I wish I could have showed somebody that, or no one was there to see it. And I could only talk about it, you know?
Right.
So I invested in a Dazzle. I don't know if you remember the Dazzle.
Yes. Yeah, I had one of those.
Oh, the struggle. And I had my little laptop and I would just clip things, you know, one at a time. Delete what I didn't want so I could make room. You know, the hard drive was terrible. So It started with that, just little clips, funny moments. And then I would share it with like my cousins or whoever I was playing with. I would say, hey, I recorded that. I'll show you later, kind of thing. So I just did that for them. But then over time, you know, I started seeing like 5 views, 10 views, 15 views, like, oh, there's other people watching it. And then it kind of went from there. I started doing more clips and more actual gameplay matches for like multiplayer, because at the time, Gears of War, especially Gears 2, the community that I was like kind of looking in, they would record full matches with party chat, game chat. You can hear all the voices.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I want to do that. I wanted to capture all the voices. I want to capture the moments, you know, the rage, the salty teammates, you know, all of that. And that's how it started. I did it with Gears of War. I did it with Call of Duty. I would sometimes catch people fighting on the mic. I have a Call of Duty video that I remember. It's just 2 random dudes fighting. And I'm there playing and listening and kind of laughing along. And I threw it on YouTube and it got some views for the time. I was like, it got some views, you know? So that's kind of what started it. And it just went from there. I started doing commentaries, like topic videos, because I saw people doing that. So I would talk about the game, or I would talk about something in my life, maybe that happened, or things like that. And I was hardly ever on camera, ever. Back then, you can kind of get away with that. You know, you can just, a girl's voice. Okay, that's kind of different, you know? And I figured maybe that would separate me a little bit. But long story short, I mean, we just kept playing games. We kept playing Gears, and I just kept going, and it just kind of went into different games. And then up until 2015, I was kind of just playing whatever I'm playing and putting up clips. But then 2015, Bloodborne came out.
Oh, yeah.
And Bloodborne changed a lot for me because I loved that game. The challenge was like, oh my God, this is what I need. This is like my roots right here. And the Soulsborne and all that, it just started from there. So my channel's kind of been centered around that. And here we are,
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, back then when it very first came out, that was like, it's almost this whole separate little genre. I can't even talk. Genre? Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, because it was like no one had really seen a game that was, that didn't have, like easy mode or hard mode or story mode.
No options.
It was hey, you're going to die a lot. Have fun.
So yeah, it really was a game that just, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
That first area, if anybody's played Bloodborne, you know what I'm talking about. I was in that area for like 4 hours, just kind of like, what am I doing? But I loved it.
Right.
And, I wanted to win, and it just kept going and going. And then once you start beating bosses, it's just like, wow, you get this adrenaline rush. And it's just, yeah, man. And then I started recording the boss fights and like my reaction and the adrenaline pumping, and it started getting views. And then I'm like, this is what I should be doing. I love boss fights. Like I've loved them since I was a kid. So yeah, it really became about that, and kind of found
boss fights for a while then, huh?
Yeah. And that's how I found my voice, I guess you can say. Yeah. My niche.
Yeah. So I guess with that, you started you've been doing, I guess, your channel, and then you started, I guess, doing the boss fights. But then from there you kind of started, other games came out which seemed to kind of, I guess, kind of grow your, I guess, diversity in some of the things that you would air or play. And then I guess at some point you've played with other people enough that you've, I guess, established some friendships from playing, and people that have been on your channel that have started, growing their people tune in to watch you guys play and take on stuff, right?
Oh yeah, definitely have to give credit to Gears a lot, like Gears 4. Well, I mean, Gears 3, I did meet friends and we had our little group, but as far as YouTubers and other content creators, Gears 4, 5, I have a group of guys, the troubleshooters. They know who they are. We talk all the time, play games all the time. And yeah, those guys, I mean, we created friendships. And then I have other friends too. I'll go on their podcast. They come on my podcast. Or we'll set up a Halo night one night. Hey, let's just play some games together. And it's awesome. I love that because, everybody's, not everybody, but some people, they just do their videos and they kind of don't really show their gameplay, or they don't really do it in the way that maybe I would. So it's nice to get them to come with me. Like, hey, let's see you game. Let's get this other side of you. Like, I love that raw, like just freedom of what they're feeling at the moment in these games. I love it. So it's awesome to collaborate. And even though you're just gaming, you are creating content. You're streaming or, showing other viewers like this side of that person too. And so we kind of just feed off each other, and then they get to know me. If they don't know me, they will now because I played with them, and vice versa.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, that's one of the things I enjoy about watching your channel. Even some of the older, I guess, games that you've played, is that you like I said, you're having fun. I mean, you're gaming, you're having fun, and then you guys are just talking some smack sometimes. not too brutal, but sometimes it's just like, I don't know, there was I think it was a Halo match, I think, that you guys were playing, and it was just you were getting the beat down on this guy one like after another.
Was it like a private match?
I think so, because it was like,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Killed by Erica. Killed by Erica. He just kept like, what are you doing to me? It was so funny. So yeah. So those, and that's then when I first started, I guess, watching, I mean, I watched YouTube for a long time, but then of course the pandemic hit, and that really seemed to kind of to get, I guess, more of a, that's when I started listening to more content creators and getting into more, because it was like, I'm home, I'm working, I want to have something
something in the background.
Exactly. And then sometimes I find myself, like I'm watching the game where, oh yeah, I got this report, got a meeting coming up. Oh, I'd mute the meeting and it'd be like,
get distracted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's my life too.
So yeah. So luckily I'm still work from home and they've made us all permanent here. So I kind of like that. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. But with that, like I said, I was able to explore a lot more. Wow, my English is totally good today.
Good.
Lot of different, podcasters, influencers, as really is what you guys are, because it's like I said, you've got a following, you're getting bigger and bigger, and then now you have a Twitch channel that you play on too. So how did some of that get along there? I mean, how did that, because that seems to be growing for you too.
Twitch. I love Twitch. I know it has its issues,
right?
Definitely, with discoverability and stuff like that. It's tough over there, but thankfully, I had my YouTube audience to kind of carry over some. And then because I've been on other podcasts, hey guys, I stream on Twitch, I always shout out my stuff. And then,
yes,
even if one of them comes over, it's like, it's growing. But yeah, I've had Twitch since it's been years. But I didn't really take it too seriously until I want to say 2017-ish. And then I got affiliate, which is not partnered, but you're just able to kind of monetize it a little bit and get subs and things like that. Once I hit that mark, I got a little more serious about it. I tried to be more consistent, but I was still gravitating towards YouTube. That's my main thing. Right. I'll just stream when I can, kind of thing. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I want to say 2019 going into 2020 when pandemic hit stuff and I had more time, I was home more. I went harder, much harder. I developed a schedule. It took a while. It was like trial and error. I would try Monday, then I would try Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then, okay, I don't like Wednesday. Let's try Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I'm like, it's a little much. It took working and tweaking, and eventually I found a schedule. And then once 2021 hit, I was just on it, man. Every week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I had my Backlog podcast every other Saturday, which kind of, tied in, and we would play games together, me and my co-host, and we would stream it and just kind of tie everything in. And I really saw growth in 2021 because of that. The schedule, the consistency, and just having a good time. It's funny because my viewers, they tease me a lot now because they remember me being so reserved. And I had fun, but I never cussed. Right. I never talked, I never said innuendos or any kind of dirty talk and nothing like that. And then the more I streamed, the more I got comfortable on camera, and the more I just knew these people and got to know them. The jokes started coming out, the innuendos, the silliness, the back, like you're talking about these matches where I'm talking smack, or I grew into my own person. Really, yeah. I think streaming a lot. I feel like it really helped me show the full extent of my personality and who I am.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, my viewers feed off of that, and they like the experience because I'm just real, and just not that I wasn't before, but I just kind of held back a little bit,
Right. Yeah. You got this, strangers, and I, don't really know, I don't want to make a fool of myself or embarrass. Yeah. I get that. But I tell you, you have a great personality. I mean,
thank you.
And this is a compliment, but I'm not egging for anything. I'm just saying this. It's truly, definitely. There's a lot of people that can do it as we're the gaming and the relationship with the audience, to where you feel comfortable and they enjoy listening to you, and they come back recurring because it's it's a safe environment, but it's still a fun. Like I said, you're gonna you may get a little raunchy here and there, but it's not
a little rowdy.
Rowdy, that's a better word for it.
A little bit.
So it's not it's always still going to be a good something where pretty much anybody can sit down and watch. And I find myself watching a lot of stuff too that I was like, I would have never thought I would sit and watch shows on YouTube. I know it's silly now. It's it's all the big things, all the rage. My kids, when I came home from school, I'm an old guy. I get home and watch TV, and I watch like Ultraman or whatever, or the Battle of the Planets, whatever was on TV, local, kind of thing. When I got home from school, like my kids when they got home from school, what are you doing? Watching YouTube. What? This guy's been playing for 4 days straight. I'm like, what?
Kind of thing. The kids, they'll expose you to some things because they're like on YouTube a lot,
Yeah, that's really how I got into the. I mean, I watched YouTube clips for a lot of like how to do something. That's where I started, really getting into YouTube. What I used it for at first, but then when the gaming and the community and the channels and stuff that come out there, it's just such a really good community because that's I mean, you're a gamer that plays PC. You play
kind of everywhere. Yeah,
exactly. You're not a so you're not a quote unquote. I mean, you may have your preference, but you're not like a diehard fan person to where it's like
console warrior, they say,
right.
or a fanboy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I've never been like that because, I just talked about my upbringing and everything I was playing, and when you're a kid, especially back then, it was just exciting to see something new. I wasn't judging it like, well, I like Nintendo, so I'm not gonna like this. It's like, no, this was like, I want to try this, So
yeah.
I've always kept that mentality for sure.
That's great too, and it shows, and it's appreciated. I'll just let you know that. So, as somebody who watches your content, so well, I mean, like there's some people out there that, when it comes down to it, they can't afford everything. You can't. So if you get one thing, it's like that's what you work on. So when Game Pass came out, there's a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's growing pretty well. Is that you have access to a lot of games. For a reasonable price, and whether it's the Xbox or a PC or your phone, that's the way to do it. And hopefully, we've heard rumors that Sony's going to unveil some things in the next couple of weeks for their service. So hopefully,
Spartacus or whatever it's called,
right? Whatever it's going to be, called Infinity Plus. I don't know.
Maybe by the time this goes up, right? Because we're recording.
It could be.
Already have been announced.
Yeah. So, but I tell you, that's pretty awesome that that those kind of things are coming to make gaming more available for other people. So with your gaming, you kind of touched on a little bit. I really want to get more into it now, if you can. With the you have a show and you co-host with the BACKLOG podcast. How did that come about? I guess, and then whose idea was it to like, hey, we should do this, and then of course now it's really growing.
Yeah, it's steadily growing. We're not blowing up yet or nothing like that, but it's good to see. Like I do watch the numbers. We are growing, and it means a lot because it's kind of like my passion project, I guess, or like my baby that we created. Me and my co-host Shar. I've known Shar for I want to say going on 8 years. Something like that. We met on a website because I used to work on a gaming website, sheetattack.com. It's not around anymore, but it was a group of women who came together and wrote articles, and we did the gaming thing. We did a couple of shows, couple of podcasts, and one of them was the loading screen, and it was me and Shar. And that was the name at the time. And we kind of did similar things where we would talk about maybe off topics that they're gaming related, but it would kind of go into deeper, more in-depth topics, not just the news, but things that we found interesting and wanted to talk about, kind of thing. But of course, with the website, it was connected to that. So it was ours, but it wasn't fully ours yet. And then the website went down, unfortunately. A couple years went by, I think, and we stayed in touch, and we would do maybe here and there, hey, let's kind of just bring it back. Let's do a collab. Let's talk about something. And it was still the loading screen at the time, I think. Right. And then one day, I believe Shar said, we should just rebrand it. Let's get a new name. Let's take it more serious. And I was on board too, because at the time I was actually part of a podcast at the time. And I was kind of craving that, I guess. I was
Right.
craving to do my own thing and to be able to choose my own topics and just make it my own. And Shar was there to do it, so I was like, let's do it. Let's change the name. And Shar came up with the Backlog, and it's so perfect of a name.
Oh, it is good title.
Yeah, because like, yeah, it's it's about gaming, but I came up with like the slogan of like, we're the backlog of topics that nobody else gets to. Because that's kind of like the thing, right? Like the backlog, they're games you never get to. They just keep growing and growing and growing. But we're going to be the ones to get to them,
Nice.
So the topics about like being a streamer or what it's like to be a woman in the industry or in gaming, and what it's like to be this and that, and just topics of surrounding our experience as content creators. I love that stuff. It's fascinating to me. I love talking about it. I love doing shows like this because we're talking about YouTube and how we got here and what we go through and stuff. And I just think it's interesting. And when I was on that other podcast and guesting on others, we never talked about stuff like that,
right.
So I was always craving that, and the backlog really scratched that itch, and it's been awesome. Like, I love doing it. I love that we're in full control. It's me and Shar. It's what we want to do, and here we are. So
yeah. It's definitely your way or the highway, which is nice.
Yeah.
So what's some of your latest episodes? What are some of the games that you've, I guess, or topics you've tackled on that?
Well, definitely Elden Ring. That's been.
I can imagine. It's kind of the background here too.
Yeah, we have the background. It's really nice. I feel at home. I'm at home.
Well, I wanted to welcome you. There you go.
Shar is pretty sick of it though. Shar told me like, no more Elden Ring. I'm like, okay. It's been like 3 or 4 episodes. I've been talking about it. Fine, I promise. No more.
Shame your friendship had to end so abruptly, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, that'd be funny. My next tweet, oh, we are ending the show. No. But no, we've talked about that. We've talked about, I think, a couple of topics with like Twitch. I just can't remember right at the moment.
That's all right. I'm going to try and put you on the spot. People can check out your channel, which we're leaving the links below. And we'll talk about at the end of the show too, but they'll be in the description below. We'll have links to all your channels and all the, your Twitch, the Twitter, all that information is going to be in the show notes. So easy for anybody to click on and find, because definitely you are really a fun person to watch, and it's really refreshing when you guys play games and stuff. So it's very enjoyable, and hopefully nobody will miss that. So with that said, you've also done some other, like you said, guesting on other shows.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you were on Colt Eastwood. You've been on there a couple times.
I was a couple times. Yeah. He's great. I like Colt. He's got a great show. It's warm and welcoming there. Anytime I feel like I'm just at home and I got no stress about it, it's just, I love being on shows like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like how he brings in a lot of different people from the community that are, to get different viewpoints. So, which is awesome. That. No worries.
It's a cat feeder. I'm a cat lady. It's my baby.
That's right. They gotta eat.
They gotta eat. Yeah.
Exactly. I like on dogs here, man. You'd think I'm starving them to death. The bowl's empty.
They act like they're so hungry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Bowl's empty. That's not expected. You need to fix that. Because as soon as I do, it's empty again. A few minutes later.
Yeah.
Well, wait a couple hours, fellas. Let your food digest.
Yeah, I know. Let it settle.
They don't get that. They just eat. I guess I shouldn't say much, but anyway. But
well, I'm eating for 2, so I mean, hey, man, I'm kind of with you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
That's
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, and I guess with your podcast, do you? I mean, I know. I guess I kind of got when Elden Ring was because like you said, that's kind of your jam, or the Souls type games.
Yeah,
and like the whole 2 months, 3 months leading up for the release date, you put out a lot of really fired up, exciting. I mean, you were just like, now I need it now. So it was those were great videos to watch.
That was my most anticipated, and it pretty much lived up to it. I've been enjoying it and stuff. But yeah, that's another reason Shar has given me a hard time, because Shar's like, I'm sick of it. You talk about Elden Ring all the time, and and stuff. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's what I decided was, because I just mentioned I am expecting, and when I found out about that, which was in December, late December, I was already kind of thinking it already, but I was thinking for my YouTube, you know what? Let me take the stress off. Let's just focus on Elden Ring. Let me stop with these Halo videos or these other things I'm covering or whatever. Let's just focus on Elden Ring because I want to. I'm excited. So why not just do it? And so I went a little hard on it just to see, will this move my channel? Because YouTube, I mean, as you know, I'm sure, it can be an up and down thing. It's rough sometimes,
Yep.
And it can be discouraging even. And I mentioned my troubleshooters, my friends and stuff. We talk about it all the time, and just man, this video is not getting views, and should I do this? What should we do? We're always powwowing about it, like what to do. But I always had in the back of my head, like, let me go in on this Elden Ring and see, like, let me just test it. And sure enough, it's crazy. YouTube cooperated and started pushing my videos a little bit. And I saw the numbers. I'm like, wow, it's kind of working. I don't want to jinx it.
Right.
But compared to my consistency before and like the numbers I was doing before, they were good. I was never not thankful. But man, when I saw the numbers for this, I was like, wow, it's like, maybe this is the time. Like, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm going to like really move, so.
Well, and hopefully it'll continue to grow. I like I said, that hopefully this will an opening for you, for that more people can enjoy what you have to to bring to the community. And I think it's positive, it's funny, it's fun, and it's great gameplay. I mean, because it's not like oh, I died again. No, you're like, I'm going to kill you. Okay.
Yeah, I get super passionate. And then
but that's awesome.
I love it because, those games, I've been covering them, the From Software games. Like I said, with Bloodborne, started with that, and then backtracked to the Dark Souls series and did everything. And even the I don't want to say knockoffs. That's a bad term. The Souls-like. The Souls-like games, the ones that took inspiration, the Neos, the Code Veins, the games like that. I covered those too. So that's what I love about this genre, is that it's not just Elden Ring and just From Software. It's like there's all these other games that play like it or have inspiration. It's like I could play those too and like fight those bosses and make content for those. So it's kind of evergreen, really. Like, I feel fortunate that I would love these games because I feel like I'm in a perfect spot to have some growth. And I just gotta do it. I gotta work,
Well, and that's the thing too. It's the popularity of Elden Ring is unmistakable. And then
crazy.
You are good at it and know the lore from these type of games and how to attack them. So I mean, it's like you're the perfect person for somebody to watch, to even get any kind of insight, or to it's like you want to know about this more, you watch Erica, because she's gonna get things done. And it's true, it really is. So what are your feelings about, obviously you love the game, and I'm sure it's gonna probably be your game of the year. I'm just kind of guessing.
It might be a small chance,
or close, or at least in the top 2. But with that said, so what's I guess what are your thoughts on kind of switch things up a little bit, kind of made it this open world where you can kind of go. I mean, I love big games, but I'm out there and I'm like, this is huge. I mean, it's and then I'm
insane.
Like, somebody's
so
like,
you've been playing it a little bit.
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm
good.
I'm not good at it, but I love it, and that's all that matters to me. As long as I have fun playing it. But it's so big. And then then I was like, I finally beat that one boss to where I guess I can't think of the name of it. That's how good I am of a gamer. But I guess
was it Margit?
The comet hits the ground.
Oh, Radon.
Right. Okay. And then like you go down there and it's like a whole nother map that's almost as big as the upper level. What's going on? I mean, wow. So
it's insane. So you're pretty far. I mean, you've done some work. You're getting in there.
I have done some work. Yes. I mean, I'm not like the worst gamer in the world, but I'm definitely not a speedrunner by any means.
Oh, I'm not there yet either. That's the thing too, is it's funny because especially when I stream Elden Ring or these other FromSoft games, it kind of exposes me a little bit because I'm not the best. Like I'm really not. And some people think I am really good. Like, Erica, you're so good at these games. And because like my YouTube is showing the boss fight where I won, right? Oh, Erica, you made it look easy. It's like, well, sometimes they are easy. Sometimes I feel like I'm good against certain bosses, but there's others like you didn't see all the attempts before. You're seeing the pretty one where I won. And so it brings them back to reality when they actually watch me play. Like, oh yeah, Erica, she does die a lot. Like it happens. But I love it. And yeah,
it's a Souls game.
That's what it's all about. So I love bringing that to my YouTube. Like, hey, I'm just like you.
Right.
And I want to talk to somebody. And you're kind of a good example too, because you say you don't really play them a lot. You don't think you're that good at them, but you like it. So you're like my perfect audience because I like to talk to those like you where it's like, hey, you can do this. I like to reassure you, and I like to say like, this is how to make it easier. Or this is how someone like me who's not even that good, I can do it. So you can do it too, kind of thing. But yeah. But no, Elden Ring, it's a big world. It's huge. The open world definitely changes things compared to like the Dark Souls series and the other games. And you have these other factors going on. And yeah, it's interesting. I've had conversations on Twitter with other Souls gamers. The Ash and Luca, I'm not sure if you know her. She's one, I love Luca.
She is really awesome. Yes.
Yeah, well, she brought up the point that like, these bosses, they're not as memorable as the past games. And I wonder why. Like, is it because of the open world? Is it? So it got me thinking, I'm like, I think I agree with that. And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean the bosses are bad or the game's bad. It's just like, I think it's true for me because of the open world, I think it just adds this less version of like the anticipation of the boss, because sometimes they just appear, you're wandering around, you're like, oh, there's the boss, okay, like I wasn't nervous at all and now here we are. But with like Dark Souls, you're kind of building up to that boss, it's coming and there's only this one way to get there, and you're excited but you're kind of in dread and you're like looking at every corner. But Elden Ring, it brings an approach of like, you're not always doing that anymore because you have the horse or you have this open world, you can run away, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's its own good thing. But it's interesting now that I've played it so much and I'm almost done with the game. I'm at the end game.
Ooh,
but
nice.
I did notice like, yeah, it is. I didn't think it was going to affect that boss experience, but it kind of does.
Right. And is it because maybe you come at a boss 20 times, you lose, then you're like, I'm just going to go over here and just go a different direction for a while and experiment, and then relax a little bit, maybe get a different boss and you beat that one. Then you're like, okay, you're more powerful. Now come back a few levels. Let's go back and try this or try a different strategy or kind of thing. So, I mean, is that maybe where maybe it's, because you in other Souls games, you had to get through that boss, or you weren't really getting any further in the game. So you were kind of against the wall, where here it's like, not so much. I mean, to maybe get to complete the end game, there's definitely bosses you have to beat to do the end game, but yet there's still much more fun stuff to do. Dying being one of them for me for fun. that you can kind of, maybe turn tail and run, but you still can enjoy the without having to feel like, oh my God, I've just, I've tried this guy 50 times and I'm done. And, I'm not going to pick it up again because there's nothing else for me to do until I beat this guy and I just can't do it right now. So, I mean, is that maybe, and that maybe makes them, the bosses not so memorable because they are some of them are avoidable for a while, maybe.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's what it is. And like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's different because you're right. Like even Sekiro, for example, there's certain, like there's bosses, like I have to beat this guy.
Yeah.
Or that's it. I'm going to have to not play basically because I can't proceed any further. And yeah, it adds more intensity. It adds more make or break. Like, I got to do this now, or I need to take a break, go think about it for a while, come back and try it on like a full stomach. Maybe I need to go eat. Maybe I need to go take a nap, whatever.
Yeah.
Come back fresh. And yeah, I think that really does add to it, because I've had experiences with like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, like these games where there is a boss that it was beating me down so bad, I would put the controller down and think about it like for hours. Like, what could I do different?
Right.
What could I do? You know, and you just think about it. Elden Ring, I have not thought about the bosses like that at all. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I can't get it done, I'll just co-op it, or I'll just, I'll try my mimic spell. I'll try, NPC, whatever, you know, I'll have a way out. I'll get to it later, kind of thing. So again, that's kind of good, because it's like, it's relaxing. I'm expecting, I'm not trying to be stressed out. So I'm kind of with it. I feel like it's perfect for me at the moment. But in the past, it might have bothered me a little bit more, possibly, you know? So it's interesting. It's as somebody who's played these games, and like Luca and others that have experience, I feel like we're perfect to see that, because we know we've been there when it's been rough, and we have to beat that boss by ourselves.
Yeah.
No co-op or nothing. Well, you could in some of them, but Sekiro, I think, is the best example, because you can't co-op. It's like you versus them, and you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's why I feel Sekiro is the hardest one. If I had to choose.
But you enjoyed that game. That's probably super high on your list of games you love.
Oh yeah, it's the game of the year that year, and that final boss, I don't know if many bosses can beat him, because he's just so memorable.
Yeah.
4 phases, difficult, and you have to learn. Like, you gotta learn every move and all of that, and it was an experience. It took me like 5 hours to beat him.
Wow. And be honest with you, that's pretty good, I think.
It can be. I mean, for some, they might be like 5 hours. That's fast, but to me, that was long, because it felt long.
Right. Yeah. And then there's a few of us that still haven't beat the game, but but that's okay. I moved on. One of these days, I may go back to it, maybe. but there's times when I've, gone to bed, sleep, and then like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like, wait a minute. I'll turn the system on and try something, or you
come up with an idea like, I should try that thing. Yeah, I forgot about that item.
And then when it doesn't work, I go back to bed for a second. But
that's good stuff, though. Like, as a gamer, that's good stuff. Yeah, at the time you might feel like obligated, or like, I can't get it off my mind. But when you look back on it, you're like, you treasure that. It's
because that's really when you take the gaming genre, as it were, and you take a couple of steps back, and you're like, this is entertainment. This is fun. This is something that you can do, that everybody can do, and you can have shared experiences. You can have solo experiences. The gaming community, as it were, is what I think benefits the most from where we are now, compared to the days of Pong and Pac-Man, and because I was just thinking, I remember the day I went into Sears and got the with my dad, and we got the Atari 2600 and 3 games. Yeah. That was an expensive day for him. But
Sears of all places too.
Exactly.
That's not Sears even really around.
Was like, that was at the time, that was big. And that was when I was little. It was even still called Sears and Roebuck. So if I let you know anything, Dave's out, okay?
No, I appreciate it. I like talking to those who were like around for that stuff, because I was born in the early 80s. So for me, I missed the Atari, really. It was just Nintendo once I was old enough.
Right.
But it's cool to hear like all that stuff. I like that. Yeah.
Well, to me, that was like Nintendo was like the second coming. It's like, oh my gosh,
I could imagine.
I love games are back. And I still remember this happened to me twice. When the Legend of Zelda came out for the NES, and the gold cartridge, and you put it in and you're playing it, and then I don't know, you're like almost to the final boss and you've tried a couple times, but you don't. The save is okay, but you're at a certain point where you can't really save, but you're so close. You're like, I'll leave it on, and then somebody bumped the system, and the cartridge pops out, and you're like, everything's gone. Start from scratch.
The struggles, twice. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, I can imagine. I've had those. Not that never happened to me. I don't think.
Right.
But I've had times where like my sister or like another kid like that was younger than me would accidentally like delete my save or something like that, or the game would just get lost, or I just things like that were like struggles. And then blowing the cartridge, it won't work, plugging things in and trying to make sure, because it just sometimes wouldn't turn on.
Yeah. Out there with a Q-tip and some was it rubbing alcohol? And,
putting it in there.
And then you got it too damp, put it back in. The power went out. What happened? But those are always supposed to let it dry first. Oh, whoops. So yeah. Gosh. But one time I was Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, which was one of my favorite games for the Dreamcast.
Loved it.
And to me, that was like, that changed a lot of things for me, because it was just the animation, the motion capture they did with that was so.
It's really good.
Awesome. At its time, it was like, that was one of the best looking games of
its day. Who was your main? Who'd you fight with on there?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
Is the I'm so bad with the name. The guy with the long staff. I can't think of his name. Saved my life.
I'm trying to think of it right now because I liked him too.
I believe he begins with an M.
I'll look it up, but I did like Maxie as well.
Yeah, with the nunchucks.
The nunchucks, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I love that game.
So old and bad with names, love.
Oh, I'm terrible. You don't gotta tell me. I'm really bad. Do you know? Well, this is kind of off topic, but Fonzarelli.
Oh yeah. I was hopefully going to interview him sometime soon, but then some things came up with obviously his medical stuff, and then now he's got the move stuff. But
yeah,
he's still on the board to interview. But yeah, he's super cool. Super cool.
He he had me on. It was awesome. Great time.
Yeah.
And he does the trivia questions at the beginning.
Yeah, how'd you do?
Not that great, because I like you, this is why I'm bringing it up. I'm bad with names. And he was asking me the name of a boss on Dark Souls 3. And I could see it in my head. I'm like, I fought him. I have the video on my channel. I'm like, dude. And it just was killing me. I could not remember the name. And then he tells me, I'm like, so yeah, I feel you. I am totally with you. By the way, I think the character was Kilik.
Oh, yeah.
Was it him?
Yes, you're right. Yes.
I liked him too.
Oh, man. Because he just do a little move with this, smack him in the face with the ball from a distance.
He was awesome. Great. Yeah.
I played that game, and I was like hard level final boss fight. The power went out. I was, all of it was gone.
Horrible.
I was just like, there's nothing you could do, because that was a storm that, came up and shot the power. I was like, all right then. So a couple weeks later, I went back and did it, but I was so mad.
It's the struggles. Like, the younger generations don't know. They don't know what we went through.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
My son, when he was little, he hates when I tell the story too, so that's why I'm going to do it. But he like the Super NES was his like real first game system, and we got Donkey Kong. And my wife, she loves Donkey Kong as well. She kind of got out of gaming when it's really became 3D, because any kind of 3D movement makes her sick when she's watching on screen.
Yeah.
So she's real big into phone games. Let me tell you about her Candy Crush phone bill. But anyway.
Nice.
but he so when he was little, I was like, Logan, what are you playing? I'm playing Donkey Tong.
Donkey Tong.
Donkey Tong.
Oh, that's cute.
Sometimes I'll still say it to him, and he just like looks at me like, shut up, Dad. So that's a fond memory for me.
That's funny. Yeah.
And he's a hardcore, super great, good gamer right now. So it's not what he does for a living, but he does a Twitch channel and stuff too. But he,
awesome.
he enjoys playing. My. So I got the new. It's something my name is covering it up on the thing, but it's the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy, and I got
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And I got it for
Okay.
there it is. I got it for the Xbox because I just sometimes I switch around. I know that I have more friends that'll get into multiplayer and get on that one. And so my daughter was like, she has a PlayStation 5, and she's like, I'll try that out. Needless to say, I haven't got to play anything on my system. She's at work, so tonight I get to go back and play some Elden Ring because she's at work.
She's addicted, or she's on that game. Yeah,
Yep,
that's really cool, though. I can imagine. I mean, I'm hoping mine is a gamer. It's a boy, so we'll see.
Awesome.
But that's got to be an awesome feeling. Like you love games so much, and then your kids are playing them too. You could relate and like bond.
Yeah, and it's fun. We will still. I mean, we're it's so sad. All three of us are getting the Steam Decks,
Nice.
That day we were all slamming away trying to, we're in queue and then getting dropped in queue. Exactly. Oh man,
that was a tough day. That was kind of rough for me too. Because I got one, but
congratulations.
It wasn't taking my card at first, and then I switched to PayPal. And one or the other wouldn't work, and I switched to the other, and then it worked. It took like an hour of me just trying different things. It was crazy. But I got one.
My daughter was the smartest of all of us. She was like a couple hours before, she went and bought a $50 Steam card and put it on there. So she was just pay with her Steam money. I was like,
that's smart. I bet you that was quicker too.
Yeah, and it was like right over my head. So by that
I should have did that.
I know that's like a great idea. So now she's
all trying different cards. I'm like, dang, I should have did that.
Yeah. She's got hers all paid off now. It's already in Steam card, just banked it all up and ready to pay it off. But we're all we're all ready for that to come in. My son, God bless him, has been building my emulator portfolio for me. So I'll be that's kind of well I'll be I've even had friends that you can actually do StreamYards on it. You can even attach your camera and stuff. Yeah, so you can go mobile with it to do a StreamYard podcast. Yeah. Pretty excited about that.
Cool. Yeah, the possibilities. I mean, it is like a little PC. I mean, you're able to do all these things, and of course that comes the the emulators and the other things that come with it. And hey, man, that's why people want them.
Yeah, and so I got a pretty decent little library of games from Steam, and then plus the you got the hopefully, I mean people have already kind of got it working, but hoping they actually have a more concrete kind of Game Pass type thing, and then which would be great to be able to play it on there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Get those Xbox games or whatever on there. Being the possibilities. I just hope it. I mean, it will continue. I don't have to hope. People will figure it out.
Right.
The modders and all that junk, they'll figure it out. There's always a way. Yeah.
There's always a way. Gosh, Erica, this has been great talking to you, and we're not quite done yet, but I just want to kind of bring it back to some couple of questions I always like to ask people, and these aren't trick questions, and you can have multiple answers because almost everybody has given me.
You're not going to buzz me like Fonz.
No, not that kind of question.
Okay.
Now, hold on to the buzzer. Anyway, no, it's like I guess so. This is going to be. I already know the answer to this, but we're just going to go for it anyway. What I guess is your favorite gaming franchise of all time?
Favorite gaming franchise of all time? I have a couple because, I know that the simple answer is the From Software games, Dark Souls or something.
Right.
Soulsborne, yeah, that's definitely up there. But also, Zelda. I really liked Zelda growing up. Metroid. Yeah, man, those games really are dear to my heart too. No matter how much time goes on and goes by, those were the most influential to me going in. And then Soulsborne took over in my adult life. That's my recent love. But yeah, I say those three kind of in there.
Yeah. I guess I'm sure you're looking forward to the Breath of the Wild 2, whatever they call it, when it gets announced, or when they finally show it.
Yeah, so. I'm not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild. It was good. I enjoyed it. I'm more of a fan of the Ocarina of Time. So, I want to see. I've always wanted Nintendo to give me that next gen graphic.
Oh yeah, like an HD
type of Zelda,
maybe, or a
I guess more mature. And what's funny about that is because we always bring it back to Soulsborne. From Software, I think brought that to me. With the the settings that they have. And yeah, it's not Link. It's not me being Link and going through it, but I get to see these big castles and these bosses and the mystery of like what's in this chest and what's over here. And I love that stuff. So I feel like Zelda is so important, but From Software like gave me the mature, like the thing I wanted from Zelda.
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I can see that easily. I guess my final question for you is this is what game, and it can be multiple because I've had a lot of people. No one's given me a single answer, so it seems like it has to be multiple, which is fine. Excuse me. Would be, I guess, what is a game that we know is coming out? It's been announced that you're most looking forward to that's not out yet, and it can be coming soon or it can be way down the line. Is there what kind of game or franchise? And I've had a lot of different answers, so I've been amazed at what people have come up with. So, and what is something like that for you? Making you think.
It's kind of crazy right now because I feel like Elden Ring was just such the most anticipated, and now that it's here, I'm like, oh yeah, what else is coming out? God of War, I think, is for sure one. I love 2018.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played 2 yet, but I played God of War 3. I played 1. So I like God of War, and the new version, the new sequel or whatever. I'm down to play that. I'm excited for that.
Right.
You said Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Well, I guess when it comes to certain games, though, especially Nintendo, sometimes they're so far out that it doesn't really hit me until like I see it again, or it's like it has a date or something. So I keep thinking, oh, they're going to keep pushing it. It's going to get delayed. I'm not going to think about it, whatever.
Right.
It'll happen. So yeah, that's probably in there. There's a couple Souls-like games. Like there's one that's called Thymesia, which is coming to Steam. It's due this year, and it's perfect for those who want a Bloodborne 2. It looks like Bloodborne.
Wow.
And not a lot of people know it because it's only on Steam. So like console people don't even pay attention. They don't care, which I don't blame them. But when you look at it, you're like, damn, that's Bloodborne. So it's kind of like we're going to get that little Bloodborne fix with that game.
Right.
Other than that, I know there's something that I'm just not thinking of right now, but I'm sure there's more.
Right.
But yeah, those are kind of the ones that just come to my mind, I guess, right now. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, Erica, thank you so much for being on here today. If you don't mind, I guess tell us, where people can find you, what when your shows are on, the ones you have kind of a schedule. And then, of course, everybody needs to subscribe to your YouTube channel. They need to hit the bell icon. They need to make sure that they are following you on Twitter. And so that way they can, when you make announcements that your show's coming out, they'll be able to jump on and watch right away. That's very important. People sometimes don't do that. Make sure you do that because you'll definitely want to watch what she has coming up.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I go by Ericutz4thewin, which I'm sure you see it on the video.
Yep.
You'll have it in the description and stuff. ERICUTZ 4, the win. And I go by that name everywhere. So Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, of course. Even Instagram, I'm on there. TikTok, I put clips sometimes. I'm not the most consistent, but if you like TikTok, I'm on there too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's where you can find me streaming. And then Twitter is the best place to follow my announcements. So if I'm streaming that night, you'll know through Twitter. If I'm streaming the next day or the backlog is the next day, you'll see the links. You'll see everything on Twitter. I'm very much about Twitter. And the Backlog podcast, that's every other Saturday. So right now it's March 26th. It's not tonight. So it'd be the next following Saturday and every other going forward on there. And you can always catch those on my YouTube. We're also on iTunes. You can look for the Backlog podcast with Erica and Shar. And you'll find us. Spotify as well. And other than that, that's kind of everything, I think.
And you do have a Patreon channel too, which we're going to put in the link below. If people want to support you to help grow your channel even more, and it's definitely worth doing. So I'm just telling you that right now.
Thank you. Yeah, that supports the podcast, Shar and I. So yeah, it's a joint Patreon. But yeah, thank you for that. Almost forgot.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle going by, you know.
Yeah, a plane incoming. But it wasn't the cat. Hey,
yeah. She went back to sleep.
There we go. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again for being here. We'll let everybody know they can find us at outbreakpodcast.com. That's the easiest way to find all our social links. Plus, we have all the interviews will be up there as well, links to those. And our other shows and things that we do as well are on outbreakpodcast.com. So that's something to check out. So hopefully we'll subscribe to this YouTube channel. And again, thank you, Erica, so much for being a part of this today. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And hopefully we'll see you again as we will find out any other things coming up in the future, anything that that might happen when you want to come back on. You've got an open invitation to come on anytime you want.
Thank you. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. I had a good time.
Thank you. All right, awesome. And thanks everybody for joining us here at Outbreak Podcast. Excuse me, Outbreak Gamers.